My in-laws pushed me out of the house, never stopping to think that I was the one paying for everything they had. When I finally walked away, their comfortable life fell apart. Before we begin, tell me where you're watching from, subscribe, say hello, and join our community. I'll never forget the moment Gerald, my father-in-law, pointed toward the door and told me it was time to leave. Eugene, you need to find another place. This isn't working anymore. He stood there in an expensive polo shirt I had bought him, while my mother-in-law, Diane, nodded along behind him. We were in the kitchen of the very house I'd been covering the mortgage for over 3 years. My wife, Anna, said nothing. She stared at the floor and twisted her wedding ring. Right then, I knew something was very wrong. We had moved in with her parents after their restaurant failed in 2021. They said it would be temporary, 6 months at most, just until they recovered. That never happened. Instead, I ended up paying every major bill while they contributed nothing. Now, at 32 years old, I was being kicked out of a home I financially supported. I tried to stay calm. I asked if we could talk it through like a family. Diane shut that down immediately. She said I didn't respect their home or their rules and claimed Anna deserved better than someone who argued with her parents. Her idea of arguing was me asking them to stop wasting electricity after the power bill hit $400 in July. I looked at Anna, hoping she would defend me. She stayed silent. That silence changed everything. If you believe family shouldn't take advantage of the person supporting them, hit subscribe. Only users and manipulators would disagree. The final straw happened a few days earlier. I came home exhausted and saw a credit card statement on the counter. Nearly $2,800 had been spent at a high-end furniture store. At first, I thought it was fraud, until I saw Diane's name. When I asked her about it, she casually admitted buying a new bedroom set. She acted like it was completely normal. I reminded her that it was my card and that we'd agreed she would ask before using it. Her response was cold and dismissive. She said that since we were family, everything I had belonged to them. Anna walked in, saw the statement, and instead of backing me up, she told me not to cause a scene. According to her, her mother needed the furniture. That was the moment I realized I wasn't part of a family. I was their bank. Needed. I said quietly, Anna, we were supposed to be saving for our own home. That money was our safety net. I studied her face, searching for the woman I married. Instead, she looked away and said softly, we live here now. This is our home. Something inside me broke at that moment. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept running the numbers in my head. Over 3 years, I had spent about $168,000 keeping that household running. After Gerald told me to leave, I went upstairs to the bedroom, really Anna's old childhood room, where we'd been squeezed in like teenagers. I sat on the bed, hands shaking, trying to make sense of everything. A few minutes later, Anna came in and closed the door gently. You're not really upset about this, are you? She asked, sitting beside me without touching me. I laughed, but it sounded empty. Upset? Your father just kicked me out of a house I pay for. Your mother treats me like a cash machine. And you stood there and said nothing. She let out a tired sigh. They're my parents. They're struggling. Struggling for 3 years, I said. I showed you the budgets. I pay the mortgage, the utilities, groceries, car payments, everything. Your dad drives a BMW I'm still paying for. She snapped back. So what, you want applause? We're family. Family doesn't keep score. I asked us to save for our own future, I said. Your mom spent our emergency fund on furniture. She shook her head. You're obsessed with money. Maybe my dad is right. Maybe you should leave. As she stood there with her arms crossed, looking just like her mother, the truth finally hit me. To them, I wasn't a husband or a son-in-law. I was a resource. I didn't sleep at all that night. Instead, I opened my laptop and pulled every record I could find. Bank statements, credit cards, mortgage papers, insurance details. I laid it all out in spreadsheets. The numbers were brutal. Mortgage. $1,700 a month, every payment from my account. Utilities. $300 to $500 a month. Groceries. Up to $1,200 a month, thanks to Diane's taste for premium everything. Car payments. Gerald's BMW, Diane's Mercedes. Credit cards. Over $23,000 spent on furniture, clothes, trips I wasn't part of, fancy dinners, golf memberships. Phones, insurance, benefits, everything tied to me. I color-coded it all. Red, blue, green, yellow. The spreadsheet looked bright, but the story it told made me sick. Total damage. $173,462. I stared at that number. That was a house down payment. That was long-term security. That was my future, gone. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I finally picked up my phone and called my best friend, Tyrell. He answered on the second ring, his voice half asleep. Someone better be seriously hurt if you're calling this early. I need your help, I said. Can you meet me at Jerry's diner before work? I have something you need to see. An hour later, we sat in a corner booth. I slid my laptop across the table. Tyrell was a corporate lawyer, and the sharpest person I knew. If anyone could look at this clearly, it was him. He scrolled through the files in silence. With every page, his face grew more serious. Eugene, he finally said, looking up, please tell me you've been keeping records. I only started last night, I said. After they kicked me out of the house I've been paying for. Your house, he corrected. Whose name is on the mortgage? Mine. Only mine. They couldn't qualify after the restaurant went under. I bought it and let them stay temporarily. Tyrell let out a slow whistle. 3 years isn't temporary. Where does Anna stand in all this? I told him everything. The ultimatum, her silence, the credit card incident. By the time I finished, his expression was stone cold. He closed the laptop and looked straight at me. You know what this is, right? He said. This is financial abuse. Straight up. And your wife is going along with it. My stomach dropped. You need legal protection, he continued. Immediately. The moment you stop paying their bills, and you will stop, things are going to explode. He was right. I felt it in my gut. I took a half-day off work and met with the lawyer Tyrell recommended, Patricia Stewart. Her office was all glass and steel overlooking downtown. Clearly not cheap. Tyrell had described her as ruthless in the courtroom, and I could see why. She listened without interrupting, jotting notes as I spoke. When I finished, she leaned back. Mr. Williams, I'll be honest, she said. You're in a risky position, but you still have options. First question, do you want to save your marriage? The question hit harder than I expected. I'd been avoiding it, but now I had to face it. I don't know, I admitted. I love her, but the woman I married wouldn't have let this happen. She nodded. That's fair. We'll focus on protecting you first. She flipped a page. The house. Your name only? Yes. That's excellent. Any shared accounts with your in-laws? No. Just credit cards where they're authorized users. We'll remove them today, she said. I'll handle the paperwork. She paused, then looked up again. Now, your wife. Do you have joint accounts with her? Yes. Both checking and savings, I said. Patricia's expression shifted instantly. That told me everything. This was serious. We need to secure those funds right away, she said. Document every dollar, open a new account in your name only, and speak with a divorce attorney, even if you're not ready to take that step. Divorce. The word felt sharp and heavy. Think of it as preparation, she added. Hope things improve, but be ready if they don't. That evening, I returned to the house I legally owned, carrying a folder full of documents and access to a new bank account. Anna was in the living room with her parents. All three were laughing at the TV, relaxed and carefree, like nothing had happened. We need to talk, I said, standing in the doorway. All of us. Gerald muted the television. We assumed you'd be packing by now. I'm not leaving, I said calmly. This is my house. I placed the folder on the coffee table. And we're discussing finances now. Diane laughed. Money talk isn't really a family meeting topic. When I'm paying every bill here, it absolutely is. I laid out the spreadsheets. I tracked everything. Over 3 years, I spent $173,000 supporting this household. The room went dead silent. Anna turned pale. Gerald grabbed the papers, scanning them with disbelief. "You've been keeping score," he snapped. "Like we're a charity." "You are," I said evenly. "You've lived here rent-free, driven cars I pay for, and used credit cards in my name. That ends today." Diane shot up furious. "After everything we've done for you? We gave you our daughter." "Gave me?" I replied. "All you gave me were bills and entitlement." Anna finally spoke. "Eugene, stop. You're humiliating yourself." "No," I said quietly. "I'm finally seeing things clearly. I let all of you take advantage of me for 3 years." 2 days later, I came home to find Anna packing. For a brief moment, I hoped she was choosing us. Choosing a fresh start away from her parents. "Where are you going?" I asked. She didn't look at me. This marriage was a mistake. The words knocked the air out of me. "We can fix this," I said. "Counseling. A new place. Just us." She spun around angry. "You embarrassed my parents. You treated them like criminals." "It's my house," I said. "My name is on everything." She zipped the suitcase hard. "All you care about is money. I can't be married to someone so controlling." I laughed, hollow. "I gave your family everything I had." "No one asked you to," she snapped. "You did it to feel superior." That's when I noticed her phone light up on the dresser. The name on the screen stopped my heart. "Donnell." "Who's Donnell?" I asked quietly. Her face drained of color as she grabbed the phone. "Too fast," I said. "Just a coworker." A coworker with a heart emoji. I stepped closer. "How long, Anna?" "Don't do this," she said. "How long?" My voice cracked, and I hated that it did. She finally looked at me. What I saw wasn't guilt or regret. It was defiance. 6 months, she said. "And he treats me better than you ever did." That was it. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. I went straight to Tyrell's place and told him everything. He poured me a bourbon, let the silence sit, then handed me his tablet. "Check the phone records," he said. "All of them." I logged into our family phone plan, the one I paid for, and scrolled through Anna's call history. The pattern jumped out immediately. Donnell's number. Every day. Sometimes several times a day. Long calls. Late-night texts. Months of it. Then I went back to the credit card statements. This time I looked closer. Romantic dinners at places we'd never gone together. A weekend getaway to wine country I'd never visited. Hotel rooms in the city on nights she claimed she was staying with a friend. "She's been using your money to date him," Tyrell said bluntly. The bourbon burned going down. "Her parents knew," he added. "They had to. You were the paycheck. Donnell was the fun." He pulled up a document on his laptop. "Patricia's drafting separation papers. You need to file first. Control the story." "I thought she loved me," I said, my voice breaking. "Maybe she did once," he said quietly. "But people like that don't stop taking. You need to cut them off completely." I stared at the screen. 6 months of lies. 6 months of betrayal. While I worked non-stop to support them, she was building a new life. "Do it," I said. "File everything." The next morning, I made the calls. By 9 a.m., Gerald and Diane were removed from every credit card. By 10 a.m., I moved half the joint savings into my new account. Legal and fair, according to Patricia. By noon, I canceled automatic payments on the mortgage, utilities, and insurance. They had 30 days' notice. More than enough. Then I called a moving company. Everything from the master bedroom, my office, and the garage. Friday. The price didn't matter. I drove back to the house one last time. Gerald's BMW sat freshly washed in the driveway. Diane's Mercedes gleamed beside it. Both would be repossessed soon. I didn't feel guilty. I walked in. No knocking. It was my house. They were all in the kitchen. Gerald, Diane, Anna, and a man I didn't know. Mid-30s. Well-dressed. Confident. Donnell. Eugene. Anna started, her face turning red. Don't, I said. I placed an envelope on the table. Divorce papers. And formal notice that all financial support ends in 30 days. Then I turned and walked out. I placed the final document on the table. An eviction notice for Gerald and Diane. They had 60 days to leave my property. The room erupted. Diane screamed. Gerald charged toward me, furious, but Donnell grabbed him and held him back. Anna stood frozen, the papers shaking in her hands. You can't do this. Gerald shouted. We have rights. No, you don't, I said calmly. My lawyer was very clear. This house is mine. You're occupants with no lease. This is your legal notice. I turned and walked out while Diane put on a dramatic crying act. By then, everything was already set. The moving truck was booked for Friday. I had rented a furnished apartment downtown. I was done. Over the next week, my phone blew up non-stop. Calls, texts, voicemails. From Anna, her parents, and relatives I barely knew. The messages jumped from begging to threatening to pure emotional manipulation. We'll starve without you. I'm having chest pains, please call. You're heartless after everything we did for you. I made a mistake. Donnell means nothing. You're really going to put family on the street? I blocked every single number. Then I remotely changed the locks and installed security cameras. Patricia warned me they might try to break in or claim squatter rights. I wasn't taking chances. 2 weeks later, Tyrell called. They tried refinancing the house in their names, he said. Bank rejected it. They also tried claiming possession rights. I laughed. They don't have a chance. Patricia's pushing for fast eviction, he continued. Also, Anna's lawyer wants spousal support. Of course she did. Patricia's fighting it, he added. Separation in practice, infidelity, equal income potential. Strong case. He paused. How are you holding up? Honestly. Better than I expected, I said. Angry but free. That's not weird at all. Financial abuse is real. If you believe no one should be treated like a human credit card, speak up. Silence only protects users. The 60 days passed faster than they thought. On a Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., the sheriff arrived to enforce the eviction. I stayed away, but Tyrell went to document everything. He sent me the videos. Gerald yelling at deputies, threatening lawsuits. Diane clutching her chest, claiming she couldn't breathe. Paramedics found nothing wrong. Anna stuffing clothes into trash bags, mascara streaked, climbing into Donnell's small car. They left the house wrecked. Walls punched in. Cabinets broken. Fixtures ripped out. They destroyed what they couldn't take. Patricia immediately added property damage to the divorce filing. But here's the part they didn't know. I'd shut off the utilities 3 days earlier. What they didn't know was that I'd already planned my exit. I intentionally let the mortgage fall into default and worked out a short sale directly with the bank. The house sold for about $15,000 under market value, but I walked away clean. No damage to my credit, no loose ends. They walked away with nothing. That night, Gerald called from a blocked number. I almost ignored it. You ruined our lives, he shouted. We're stuck in a motel. Diane's on blood pressure meds. This is on you. No, Gerald, I said calmly. This is on you. You all used me. Now you're dealing with the results of your own choices. We gave you everything, he yelled. Our daughter. Our family. You gave me debt and disrespect, I replied. And I'm done paying for it. I hung up and blocked the number. An hour later, Patricia called. They're trying to claim elder abuse. It won't go anywhere, they're desperate. Let them try, I said. I documented everything. 6 months later, I sat in my downtown apartment, watching the sun set through floor-to-ceiling windows. The divorce was final. Anna got nothing. Her affair and the financial records made sure of that. The house was gone. Most of my losses were recovered through damage claims and legal settlements. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I hope you're happy. Mom had a stroke. Dad's drinking again. I lost my job. Donnell left. This is your fault. I stared at the message for a moment, then deleted it and blocked the number. Their problems were no longer mine. An hour later, Tyrell showed up with Chinese takeout and a six-pack. You see the message? He asked. Yeah, I said. Not my circus anymore. He nodded. Word is Donnell disappeared once the money stopped. Anna thought he'd support her. I took a long drink. And Gerald and Diane, he added. Living with Diane's sister now. She's making them work. Funny how that works. Life slowly came back together. My savings grew again. I got promoted. I started therapy, hit the gym, and began dating, carefully on my terms. Any regrets? Tyrell asked one night. I thought about the 3 years I lost. The money. The betrayal. No, I said finally. I just wish I'd done it sooner. My phone buzzed again. Blocked number. I silenced it without checking. Some bridges are meant to burn, because warmth matters more than keeping toxic people comfortable. If you believe everyone deserves respect and fair treatment, hit like and leave a comment saying I stand for justice. Only manipulators stay quiet. And subscribe if you're done watching good people get used.